Auburn Blitz is now on the air, your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your host, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy, Wednesday?
It is.
Jeremy.
Yes.
I almost broke out a pair of shorts today, but I didn't want my ashy legs to cause a panic in Alexander City, Alabama, but it's, 77 degrees
It's
right
very
now.
nice outside, yeah.
Beautiful Wednesday, and we're glad that you are with us today on the Auburn Blitz, and we want to start right off, obviously, thanking our sponsors. David Jones here with J.J. Jeff Coat, Russell Dewitt Center, Big Fish Real Estate, the Mortgage Pro, and then our newest corporate sponsor, J.A. Smith Construction. And we want to send out, once again, well wishes to Andy Graham, who is still recovering and has a doctor's appointment today. We're hoping we get some answers on all of this that he's been going through. Please remember Andy in your prayers. And we're kind of off script a little bit today, JJ, so we'll just hit it hard. First of all, let's go over last night, and I don't have them in front of me, but there were some really, really good games last night. The one that stuck out to me, obviously, was Texas A&M coming from behind and beating Tennessee.
Well, and it's about time we stared paying attention to A&M a little bit.
I've been paying attention.
I mean, they're what are they, 13-2 now in the league? Or,
yeah.
And yes, it's an upset, but they've been playing better basketball than Tennessee has lately.
Yeah.
And I know their roster isn't as celebrated as Tennessee's or Alabama's, but A&M's playing as good a basketball as anyone in the league.
They really are. And I've been on the Buzz Williams train from the jump. I think he was a great hire. I was laughing. These projections just drive me nuts. Right before we played them the second time, they had us as a 6th seed and had them as first 4 out. Now what are we looking at? I mean, in the span of about 2-3 weeks. So, you can take some of those projections with a grain of salt. It's interesting. I was on the way here today, JJ, and I was listening to the sports talk on Sirius XM. And they actually have a company called Bubble Watch, and they had the Bubble Watch guy on there. And, of course, they were talking about North Carolina, which is, he said, there actually have been 2 blue bloods. He said, Kentucky, not so much right now. But North Carolina owned the Bubble Watch right now. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting. Yeah, I told Brett yesterday, this is or Monday, this is my favorite time of year. Baseball season starting, and you got your high school basketball championships next week, and then we're into the home stretch with college basketball, which I'm a little partial and biased, but I feel like the March Madness is the greatest sporting event in the world to me. But other people have their favorites, but I just love it. Love the upsets, love the Cinderella stories. And but back to Texas A&M, we'll see what happens with Alabama. But Alabama and Texas A&M went out. You're looking at the for all the league marbles on that last regular season game.
That's right.
At College Station.
At College Station, which would be fascinating, and I know we're going to get into what's going on in Tuscaloosa today because it's a bloody mess right now over there, but. And who knows how what dominoes are going to fall there. Yeah. So we have to wait and see. But Arkansas last night takes care of Georgia, too. And the interesting story about that is, Georgia's not any good. But Arkansas now goes to 8-7 in the league. They were sitting at 7-7. Nick Smith came back last night. Nick Smith Jr. returned. Yeah. Had 26 points. Yeah. Looked really good. Yeah. I think he was, 5 for 8 from behind the arc. Nick Smith Jr. changes the complexion of that team a little bit, makes them much better. He's one of the best freshmen in the country. And you put him out there, throwing down 25, 26 points. Arkansas becomes a really dangerous team. So you could see you could see Arkansas in this last week and a half of conference play kind of pushing towards, some things. So,
that's one of Randy's talking points, JJ, is Arkansas. He's high on Arkansas and what Musselman does toward the end of the year. And I agree with that. And of course, from a coaching standpoint, I'm always interested when a player's been out that long. You got your chemistry, you got your rotation, and now enter Nick Smith. You got to have him on the floor. So no ill effect.
He's arguably the best player on your team. So you throw everything out. You've got to have his production. He showed last night. I mean, just first game back goes for 26.
Yeah.
And but he's a player, and he makes them a much more dangerous team than they were.
I probably should have been watching more of that game. I was watching. I had the Auburn baseball game on my phone, and I had the Texas A&M Tennessee game, and then I watched a little bit of the Indiana Michigan State. What a horrible tragedy that was, and how that's affected the people up in East Lansing. But Nick Smith's a difference maker, and here he is. And we all wondered what in the heck's going on. Well, is he coming back? What's the deal? And Musselman said, yeah, he's coming back. Here he is. They're 2 weeks from the SEC tournament.
Yep.
That'll give them plenty of time to fine-tune and tweak anything they need to tweak as far as rotations and all of that. And so you have to throw Arkansas in the mix now as a dangerous team heading down the stretch.
No question. And I always thought they were, just because, one, Musselman's a very good tournament coach. And there are some coaches who are just good at tournament ball, right? I mean, and I don't know why, I don't understand it, but there are some that are just good tournament coaches. There are some coaches who are great regular season coaches. They find a way to lose in the tournament, it seems like.
Yeah.
But there are some coaches who, on those quick turnarounds and tournaments, are just good at it.
Yeah.
And Musselman's one of them. So, yeah, Arkansas, very dangerous.
They are, and it's, once again, here we are. We're 2 weeks from the SEC tournament. Still a lot of things to settle. I think it's clear now, especially with Tennessee kind of going on the dive, it's clear that Alabama and Texas A&M are the class of the league. It's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out. And, of course, what Brett and I were talking about, as far as our Auburn Tigers, I said this, he said it again yesterday with Randy. I hope we don't have to look back at the end of this season and glare intently at that Georgia loss, the Vanderbilt loss, and say, man, if we'd just taken care of business. I'm still, Brett's on the NIT side of the fence. I'm not yet.
No, I'm not either.
And because surely to goodness, I'll be there tonight. Surely to goodness, we'll take care of business tonight. And we have Tennessee at home, and Tennessee's just not playing very well right now. So.
Right. And the big thing is, number one, absolutely cannot afford a loss tonight. No. Lose to Ole Miss, you're definitely NIT bound.
Yeah,
There's no question.
That's right.
But don't think that's going to happen at Neville Arena. So take care of business against Ole Miss. You go on the road to Kentucky. Auburn's capable of winning in Rupp. Kentucky is not. This is not a classic Kentucky team.
Yeah.
They're very good defensively, but Auburn can overcome that. They are too. So they're capable of that. On the road in Tuscaloosa is a tough game, and Tennessee's at home. So there's a chance to win. And I think if they can win 2 of these last 4, they're good. Win 3 of the last 4, no problem. But
just
we'll
one.
See. Just one, and then you might need a win or 2 in the tournament.
Yeah. Well, that's what I had. If we can take some pressure off of ourselves by finishing the regular season strong, and then you don't have to stare the tournament in the face and go, holy crap, we got to win 2 or 3 in this tournament.
Yep.
So very interesting how this thing's going to shake out down the line. But tonight at Neville Arena, it is an 8 o'clock tip, so will be the second game tonight on television, I assume. Auburn versus Ole Miss. And let me say this, I've always been a Kermit Davis fan. What he did at Middle Tennessee was unbelievable. He started out gangbusters at Ole Miss, but they just hadn't been able to put anything together there this year. And I'm afraid this might be it for old Kermit.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Ole Miss is going to have to look for – sometimes you just got to inject a little excitement into the program, right? Yeah. And find somebody who can do that. Go find a you know, a guy who's doing some things at a mid-major, and, you know, bring him in.
Yeah.
See what you can do.
Well, you know, I mean, Ole Miss can do that. I mean, you know, Andy did an admirable job there, and of course he's back home at UAB now, and I know they're glad to have him. I know the people in Oxford that I have talked to, because we went to Oxford for the Auburn Ole Miss game, and I just think the sentiment in Oxford is that it's kind of worn on them. They're ready to move on. So
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what's going on with that. But last night, quickly, Auburn baseball, kind of weird. They were the home team playing in Huntsville.
Right.
They played North Alabama, which is, of course, a smaller division school. Just totally outclassed. Auburn wins 13-1. And I think they're going to do this every year because the place was almost capacity. Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful stadium. Have you been up there and seen the new stadium?
Yeah.
Have you? I have not. They said there's a lot of restaurants and hotels that are being built now around, just kind of a complex type vibe. And tremendous crowd last night. And, of course, Auburn's bats came alive. 13-1 win for the Auburn Tigers. And before we go to break, you know, the USC series is now flipped to Auburn.
Right.
With the weather in Los Angeles being 100% chance of rain all weekend, now the Trojans are going to fly into Auburn this weekend.
Yeah.
So 3 baseball games at Plainsman Park this week.
Good chance to get out and see one.
Absolutely. Time for our first break here on the Auburn Blitz. We'll be back in just a bit.
The interstate is backed up this morning due to an accident.
So you don't like sitting still on the interstate? Get the free Algo traffic app. With Algo, you'll have the information you need to avoid problems on your route, to work, to home, to the beach. Traffic backups, wrecks, lane closures, all with current info and live traffic camera feeds. Know before you go with Algo Traffic, ALGO Traffic from the Alabama Department of Transportation. Get it today and arrive on time.
Lake Martin Garage, located on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, has been serving our area since 1993. From routine maintenance such as oil changes, tune-ups, and rotating and balancing your tires, to transmission and engine repair, our trained and certified mechanics will get you back on the road better than before. Need a tow? With a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week towing service, Lake Martin Garage has local and long-range pickup. Trust your vehicle needs to the professionals at Lake Martin Garage. Call 256-825-6139, or better yet, stop in and see them today. Lake Martin Garage.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro in Alexander City is the perfect lender for all your mortgage needs. Property values have increased and interest rates have never been so low. So if you haven't looked at refinancing your house in the last 6 to 12 months, Mortgage Pro is here to help you take advantage of that. Our team is closing loans in 15 days or less, so give us a call at 256-397-0248 and let our team go to work for you today.
Don't be caught in a dirty vehicle. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have your vehicle or boat looking like brand new in no time, and you'll be back driving in style. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, gel coat restoration, and ceramic coating. Take it to the professionals at Lake Martin Mobile Detailing. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or stop by and see them at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville. Mention this ad and receive $10 off. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing for your cleanest vehicles around.
Lee Apparel is your go-to vendor for screen printed and embroidered apparel and promotional products. We print and embroider free custom-made graphics or outsourced designs on everything from t-shirts, headwear, corporate wear, team sportswear, high-end safety apparel, and promotional products. At Lee Apparel, you can always expect quick turnaround time, competitive pricing, friendly customer service, and free in-hands delivery on all orders. Visit us at leeapparel.com to get started.
SCAG, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that SCAG means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
J.A. Smith Construction, with 19 years experience, is your trusted choice for construction. Site clearing and grading for new home construction, basement excavation, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 334-531-0199 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Welcome back once again to the Auburn Blitz. David Jones with J.J. Jeffcoat here. Once again, thank you to our sponsors, Russell Dewitt Center, Big Fish, Mortgage Pro, and J.A. Smith Construction. We're going to lead into a little talk here about the hot topic in the state right now. But before we do that, I do have the Auburn baseball stats pulled up from last night. The final score in a 7-inning game, J.J., with the 10-run rule in effect. Auburn 13, North Alabama 1. Auburn had 15 hits, no errors. North Alabama had 5 hits, 2 errors. And 2 players for Auburn just continue to stand out from the plate. That's Bobby Pierce. Bobby Pierce was 3 for 4 with 3 RBIs. And Bryson Ware was 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs. And I was fortunate to, Sunday night after the Auburn baseball game, we went to Moe's Barbecue over at Tiger Town, and Bobby Pierce and his family were in there, and we got to have a nice conversation with him. And I told him, I said, Bobby, just keep doing what you're doing, man. No pressure, but we sure did enjoy Omaha last year. And he said, oh, we plan to go back. But once again, we've talked about this over and over again. The great job that Butch Thompson's doing with the Auburn base. And rightfully so. This game should have been an easy game. Great opportunity for a lot of people in Huntsville. Here's the great thing right now, JJ, about Auburn. Well, it's good and it's bad. Auburn, especially with baseball and basketball right now, is in such a place that sometimes you have to go to away games to get tickets.
Yeah.
Especially with basketball, with the prices.
All right.
But this was an opportunity for a bunch of people in Huntsville. There's a huge Auburn base in Huntsville, and it was a great opportunity for them to see Auburn play. It was funny yesterday we were talking about, and you've got stories too, we all do, and it was funny, Randy vented yesterday about the old guy in Vanderbilt that was sitting in front of him. Right. We were at the hotel in Oxford. We stayed at the Graduate, which was right down by the square, which is a fantastic place. And this young couple from Huntsville had driven to Oxford to watch Ole Miss play basketball, and they had gotten tickets in the Ole Miss scholarship section some way.
Right.
And these 2 older ladies just blistered them the whole game. And the husbands were just sitting there like, I wish my wife would shut up. But, sometimes that's what you get. We've all got them. Believe me, there's some Auburn folks that are like that too. But that was. But back to my original point. We're to the point now in baseball and basketball where sometimes if you're close, you're better off trying to go to an away game than you are getting tickets for an Auburn game, especially with basketball and with baseball.
Yeah.
Well, JJ, let's get into. I have read. Just a little bit. You probably, obviously being an Alabama guy, know more than I do. I think the bottom line right now is that there is nothing that they could charge Brandon Miller with.
That's right.
But what type of avenues or gray areas are there still out there where this thing could turn and especially affect people's lives?
Well, there's some things you have to right now. Let's get this out of the way so that we don't have to repeat it over and over. The most important thing is that a young lady lost her life.
Absolutely.
A young mother lost her life,
Yes.
and the most important thing is that her and her family get justice out of this.
Yeah.
That's number one, okay? But there are other important things going on here. There's a major state university involved. And let me say that I am not a lawyer, but I have spent my entire adult life, the better part of 30 years in the media, written many press releases, offered many statements, sometimes on difficult circumstances, right? The fact that the University of Alabama sports information people, or strategic communications people as they call them, did not have Nate Oates better prepared for the question he got yesterday is a shame and a complete failure on the part of the university. And Greg Byrne and the sports information folks and Nate Oates, and to his credit, Nate Oates apologized later, shouldn't have said that. But
somebody probably got him behind a closed door and said, "Hey, Nate."
Yeah, but why didn't you do that before?
Exactly.
Did you not know that this question was coming? Because it's coming.
Yeah.
And you know what you say is, there's an ongoing investigation. I really don't need to comment on it. You know, and we're going to let the legal system do what it does.
Yeah.
And then you move on, right?
Yeah.
You don't say wrong place, wrong time. Wrong place, wrong time is when you're eating dinner next door and something happens. That's wrong place, wrong time, right?
Yeah.
This was not wrong place, wrong time. But I read Carol Robinson's story yesterday. That's really the extent of my knowledge on it, is what Carol wrote on it, right? I haven't read any of the national stuff. I understand there's, I think Tom Wolkin and some other kind of national, you know, fire Nate Oates and Brandon Miller never should play another. I don't know that, right? I know what Carol Robinson wrote.
Right.
Yeah. And what she wrote was that, and again, this is what happens. That's why when you think this story was over 2 months ago, it wasn't, because we don't have all the facts yet.
Yeah.
And we know that two freshmen, Brandon Miller and the point guard, and his name escapes me right now, both were there.
Yeah.
We know that Darius Miles asked Brandon Miller to bring him his gun. You know, which is stupid. It's not criminal. If you say, you know, you text me and go, "Hey, JJ, you know, I'm out here at Chick-fil-A. Why don't you come hang out? Oh, and by the way, bring me my gun."
Right.
I'm probably going to go, "What?" You know.
Well, you and I off the air had this scenario.
You go
and
get
the
your own
next
gun, man. I'll
question-
come out and have some chicken with you,
Well,
but, you know,
the next question is, why in the world do you need me to bring you your gun?
Yeah. Now, there's other things that popped up in the story. There's a question about where Brandon Miller's car and the other kid's car were parked, and about whether they were parked in such a way to block in the Jeep that the victim was in with some other people.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case,
that would not be a good.
If that's the case, that's what I mean when I say this isn't over.
Yeah.
The fact that Brandon Miller, that they don't have a crime to charge Brandon Miller with, add the word "yet" to that, because that can change.
Yeah.
And I think so. One, if Brandon Miller is not charged with anything or being investigated for a crime, do you suspend him for that? I mean, you know, I don't know.
It's
like I said, stupid is not criminal, which is probably a good thing for most of us. Yeah. But it's a sad situation all the way around. Devastating situation potentially for devastating situation for the girls' family, and potentially devastating for a whole lot of other people too.
Absolutely.
But the university needs to handle it better. Nate Oates needs to handle it better. And if they're not having full-on meetings today to discuss how they're going to handle it moving forward, then they're not doing their job.
Yeah, that's right. Good take, JJ. Appreciate that. Hey, time for another break here on the Auburn Blitz. We'll be back shortly. Thanks for being with us today.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice. Bice Motors.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
High school championship basketball is bouncing its way to the Legacy Arena in Birmingham, and so is WOTM, your AHSAA TV network. Starting February 27th, catch all of the exciting semifinals live as they happen. Every dunk, every three-pointer, every steal. It's boys and girls high school basketball every day, live on the AHSAA TV network.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau tri-tunes, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
Country Clipper zero-turn mowers are designed for comfort, accessibility, and ease of use. Only Country Clipper offers your choice of steering options with industry-exclusive joystick steering or twin lever steering. Their patented stand-up deck, standard on every model, allows for quick access to the underside of the deck for routine maintenance. With a wide front step and optional handrail, getting on or off your mower has never been easier. Stop by Fun Carts of Opelika today for a test drive. Country Clipper mowers, designed for you. Fun Carts of Opelika, located at 618 Lee Road, 113 in Opelika, Alabama.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
No monthly payments for 120 days at Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika. Check out the powerful new Chevrolet Silverado 4-wheel drive crew cabs discounted up to $7,500 off. The midsize Chevrolet Malibus up to $5,250 off. Shop online anytime at glennsmith.com. That's GLYNN Smith.com.
We have over 200 new and used vehicles on the ground or on the way. Get ready to smile.
Welcome back
Comments
again.
coming in too.
Oh, we got some comments?
Yeah.
Yeah, I must have missed those.
Well,
I'll have to.
One,
Oh, here we
Jeff
go.
Jeff says saw where they're actually talking Chris Beard at Ole Miss. That would be an interesting one.
That would. Well, wherever Chris Beard goes, he's going to get it turned around. I mean, Texas Tech, what he did was amazing. And let's talk about that too, Jay, because we're kind of on that theme today. Considering that there were no charges brought against him from the girlfriend, did he merit losing that job at Texas?
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where organizations have a right and a responsibility to protect the institution first, right? That's, I mean, you know, you could ask, should Wimp Sanderson have been fired all those years ago?
Right. Yeah.
You know, but an institution, and that's part of this whole thing that's going on now. The institution's 150 years old.
Yeah.
And the institution has a responsibility to protect itself from negative exposure. And that's one of the things I'm sure that's weighing into whatever is going on. John said the media needs to back away and let the justice system do its job, plain and simple, but that ain't going to happen. Sharks are circling and smelling blood in the water. And look, no disagreement from me on that. You know, there are people who get a whole lot of clicks, you know, off of wanting to fire somebody or wanting to suspend somebody or kick somebody off of whatever. But again, until you have all the information, you can't judge those things. You know?
Well, I'm gonna disagree with John on this one. Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, that's the world we live in with the media. But I can promise you, some writer somewhere is not going to influence a law enforcement officer on doing the right thing in this situation. They can write and say whatever they want to.
That's right.
The people that are in charge of this investigation are going to do their due diligence. And we're in a time in our society right now where with cameras and with witnesses and with intel and DNA and all of that, it's almost impossible for the correct information not to surface.
Right. And well, and like I said, in the couple of months since this thing happened, 2-3 months since it happened, Darius Miles, every time he gets presented with another piece of evidence, we learn more about what really happened. And which is not good. Let me say this. If you're facing a long prison sentence, the best thing you can do, speak honestly and clearly. Don't try to hide it, because again, covering up what you did just makes it worse. And that has happened in this case, and it's so now the unfortunate thing, if you're the administration in Alabama, is now you have to start asking the questions. Okay, who knew what, and when did they know it? Right? Because you have to ask those questions now, because we're getting more information. And the question is, did anybody know this already? You have to ask, did Nate Oates know this already? Did Greg Byrne know this already? There's a lot of very highly paid, influential people who are going to have to answer some difficult questions now. So,
and let's say this: if Greg Byrne and or Nate Oates knew things that they're not divulging at this point, their heads could possibly roll.
There's no question, because as I said, the institution's going to survive. The institution's 150 years old. Right. It's going to survive.
Yeah.
The people that work at the institution may or may not. You know, so that's, and then same thing at Texas, right? Okay, did you act a little quickly? Maybe. But the institution has that right to protect themselves from negative exposure if that's the way they choose to do it.
That's true, JJ. And to add to that, the institution of Texas may have had some information that the rest of us do not have about Chris Beard, that they had just been sitting on or watching carefully, and that was just that took it over the top.
So it's the old Lee Corzo line, right? Somebody knows something I don't know, right? But yeah, and it's really becoming. It's one of those things now where I think people are going to be watching Alabama basketball and waiting every day for a potential shoe to drop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
John says, but you can't tell me X University's not going to consider firing a coach just because the media inferno and public subsequent reactions. You just asked the Texas Ag premature. Well, I think that's right. I don't, but that's not what you said.
That's not what I said.
You said law enforcement.
Yes.
Law enforcement's going to do their job regardless of what the media says. Now, the university, yes, public opinion means a great deal to public universities, and it should. I mean,
and I also said, JJ, did Texas have more information that none of the rest of us have sitting there on the desk with Chris Beard, and this took it over the top?
Right.
I mean, yeah, but that's a different deal.
How many times do we hear about someone getting fired, and you hear a term like, inappropriate relationship, and we all go, oh, come on, that's not it. You can't fire the guy because of that. But then 2 months, 3 months down the road, you learn there was more to it, and so.
Yeah. Well, let's go here. Yeah. Let's go to Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
Okay. Who, for all intents and purposes, has made his life right with his God and with his family, and we know what happened at Ole Miss.
Right.
And then we had the media that had tried to come back and accuse him of some things at a high school many, many years ago, Some of those high school girls have even come forward and said, no, that's not correct. So it's crazy. And I've even had, it's fun, Twitter is hilarious. I mean, it's sad, but it's with the Brandon Miller thing, it's hilarious to see some of the back and forth between Alabama and Auburn fans on Twitter. The bottom line of this, it's a horribly heartbreaking situation with this young lady. And you would hope that this thing would be settled as quickly as possible and that the truth would be told completely and the truth would come out and we can move on. But
Thomas says, do you think Bama beats South Carolina tonight? I don't think Alabama.
Left-handed.
They don't need Brandon Miller to beat South Carolina.
Left-handed, Thomas. Where's the game? Where is the game?
It's in Columbia.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Look, JJ, I went
they could play that game at Benjamin Russell down the street.
I went to the Auburn South Carolina basketball game last year. That was our away trip. It was called year before last, Columbia. And man, the place was not even half full. I mean, they just, and right now, and this is my stock line, you fired Frank Martin for this?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah. And I know Frank Martin didn't play an exciting style of basketball, right?
No.
But he won games.
He's good for the game. He loves his kids. He disciplines them.
Yeah. And he plays a very old school style of basketball, man. I mean, they D you up and they work the ball inside and they play.
Rock fight comes to mind.
Yeah, they play an old school style of ball, and it's but he wins games. And again, I think South Carolina is going to wind up, probably not this year, but soon, making another change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you get on that, you let a guy go, and then you get on this train of, okay, this guy's not working, this guy's not working, this guy's not working. Yeah. It happens.
And sometimes you might have been in better shape back at point A.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's time for another break. Thank you for your comments, and feel free to phone into the show as well today as we continue with the Auburn Blitz.
J.A. Smith Construction, with 19 years experience, is your trusted choice for construction. Site clearing and grading for new home construction, basement excavation, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 334-531-0199 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area.
LMG Ad Agency is the go-to vendor for all your digital and print marketing needs. We have in-house production for all projects, including graphic design, web design, social media marketing, videography, and print marketing. Our video production is up to industry standard with modern 4K cameras and drone capabilities. We pride ourselves in client-committed relationships, and every project is personalized to your needs. Visit lmgadagency.com for a free quote today. Let us tell your story.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama. Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro in Alexander City is the perfect lender for all your mortgage needs. Property values have increased and interest rates have never been so low. So if you haven't looked at refinancing your house in the last 6 to 12 months, Mortgage Pro is here to help you take advantage of that. Our team is closing loans in 15 days or less, so give us a call at 256-397-0248 and let our team go to work for you today.
For more than 40 years, Ingram Equipment Company has helped companies, towns, and cities with their dirtiest, most challenging jobs by providing the very best equipment and by helping them keep in tip-top working condition. IEC represents leading manufacturers such as Heil garbage truck bodies, Timco sweepers, Step pothole patchers, and many more. We proudly support all athletes and teams that compete across the state and wish them good luck this year. Ingram Equipment Company, ingramequipment.net.
WAXC TV3's Basketball Game of the Week is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet Buick GMC on the Columbus Parkway in Opelika. Get ready to smile. Catch game replays on WAXC TV3 and on our Roku app. Games replay Monday and Friday at 8 p.m. and also Saturday and Sunday at 6:30. Catch the replays of these games airing now from Glenn Smith Chevrolet Buick GMC in Opelika and WAXC TV3.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. David and JJ here with you. We got about 18 minutes left in today's show, and I believe we need to go to the phone lines for Mr. Terry. Hey, Terry, it's David. You're on the Auburn Blitz.
Coach David, JJ.
Hey, man.
Guys, do y'all remember a sitcom in the 70s? I know Coach David will remember about JJ called The Good Times.
Oh, yeah.
You trying to say I'm old, Terry?
Well, I'm old, too, so I remember, too. When I'm there. When the guy that played the father, who I consider one of the greatest actors of all time, John Amos.
John Amos, absolutely.
The comment in that show, he made several comments, but there was one I particularly liked, and I kind of stuck with me. They went to a school counselor's office about a problem with their youngest son, and he had his hand on the guy's shoulder, and he looked right at him, and he said, "How you gonna know where I'm at if you hadn't been where I've been? Can you see where I'm coming from?"
Right.
Yeah.
And I thought that's very. I like that. I like that a lot. So.
Yeah.
This whole situation with Miller at Alabama. There's probably a whole lot yet to come out. And Coach David, you said it right. Like in Texas, there's probably some stuff we'll never know.
Yeah.
Because there's privacy laws involved.
Yeah, that was my point, Terry. That I know that was a bad situation, but there was no police report that I ever read, or he wasn't charged with anything. It was police were called. But in that case, you just wonder, there has to be some other things that we don't know. And
sure.
Goodness gracious, that could possibly be the case here too.
And
with,
Terry, I mean,
Miller.
we've already learned stuff we didn't know, right? Because I have been la-laing along for the last couple of months on the, assumption that Brandon Miller wasn't involved in this thing. What do you mean? I didn't even know he was there.
Yeah.
Now, but here's my thing, Terry, and this is kind of what I was getting at, right? For the communications department at Alabama not to have Nate Oates better prepared to answer that question yesterday means one of two things, right? Either they were as caught off guard by this information as we were, or two, they're very bad at their job, right? It's one or the other, because it can only be those two. Either Nate Oates and the university didn't know this information until yesterday either, or they just did a really poor job of preparing for when this information came out.
Well, let me ask you this, JJ. When he come out with another statement about 6 hours later, isn't that the essential if I knew now what I knew then, or if I knew then what I knew now type thing?
I think it was more of a, I shouldn't have said it the way I said it. You know what I mean? The wrong place, wrong time is just it's just a horrible.
Just one big old oops.
Yeah. So I like I said, I give him a little credit for coming back and apologizing for that, because there are some people, especially, high-profile people, who would just let that stand and go, oh, well, y'all can think whatever you want to, I'm moving on. But at least he knew enough to know that what he said was really damaging.
Well, now what I'm about to say is sort of uncomfortable, but I'm going to say it, okay? you know, this JJ's an Alabama fan. There's a faction of Alabama fans, like there's a faction of all fans at different schools, and it especially bothers Alabama fans that Auburn has a Final Four banner hanging in their arena and Alabama doesn't.
Right.
That's the win at all cost attitude they have sometimes.
No, in every school, it doesn't even have to be a school. Every professional team has those fans too, where you'll excuse anything if you're winning. And I don't, I've never considered myself one of those people, never wanted to be one of those people. Actions have consequences, right? And if you commit a wrong action, chances are you're going to have a consequence. I don't know what the consequences should be right now for Brandon Miller because I don't have all the information.
So those people that would think that JJ and Coach are the same people that thought Cam Newton was as guilty as sin before they even knew all the facts.
Right.
Here's the thing, Terry. I read an interesting comment I was telling JJ how hilarious Twitter is, and we all have these fans, right?
Oh, sure.
But these Alabama fans that are kind of excusing Brandon Miller, what would they be saying if Jabari Smith had taken a gun to Toomer's Corner at 1:30 in the morning? You know what I'm saying?
I can always remember my mother, and I grew up with three older siblings, and my mother never gave me a curfew. Mother and father never gave me a curfew because they said with three older siblings, I couldn't do anything they hadn't already seen done.
Yeah.
But nothing good ever happened after midnight.
Yeah. That's right.
They always told me.
When our boys were in high school and kind of learning to drive and all this sort of thing, I had a saying I always gave them, and I told them, I said, I want you to think about this before you do anything, right? What is the worst thing that can happen here? And if the worst thing that can happen there is unacceptable to you, then you know not to do it, right?
Yeah.
And I used it kind of explaining like how to drive, right? There's a car in front of me that stopped in the middle of the road. I'm in a residential neighborhood. I'm going to go around this car. Well, what's the worst thing that could happen here? Maybe there's a kid about to get out of the car, and I don't know it, right? That's the worst thing that could happen here, and that's unacceptable to me. So I'm just going to be patient and wait for the car to do whatever it's going to do.
Yeah.
If my buddy texts me at 1:30, just say it out loud. I'm going to take a gun down to the strip at 1:30 in the morning. What's the worst thing that could happen here?
Yeah. A lot.
And if you ask yourself that question, there's no way in hell you're going.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Let me ask you guys a question about Auburn spring practice coming up. It's coming up next Monday, right, the 27th?
That's correct.
Am I the minority or the majority looking forward to spring practice now that we got rid of that idiot, that coach that you defended, David?
Now, wait a minute, Terry.
I'm just kidding, Coach.
No, you're correct. I defended him a little bit longer than I needed to, but now that we know what we know, I must have bumped my head. But I think a lot of Auburn fans are intrigued by spring practice. I think we're intrigued by the length of spring practice because he's going to take some time between practices to evaluate, take his time with it, and I think A-Day will be a record crowd at A-Day this year.
Appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks, Terry. Appreciate you. We're up against our last break here on the Blitz. We'll see you in a few minutes.
J.A. Smith Construction, with 19 years experience, is your trusted choice for construction. Site clearing and grading for new home construction, basement excavation, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 334-531-0199 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area.
L&G Ad Agency is the go-to vendor for all your digital and print marketing needs. We have in-house production for all projects, including graphic design, web design, social media marketing, videography, and print marketing. Our video production is up to industry standard with modern 4K cameras and drone capabilities. We pride ourselves in client-committed relationships, and every project is personalized to your needs. Visit lmgadagency.com for a free quote today. Let us tell your story.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama. Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
The Eric McKinley team at Mortgage Pro in Alexander City is the perfect lender for all your mortgage needs. Property values have increased and interest rates have never been so low. So if you haven't looked at refinancing your house in the last 6 to 12 months, Mortgage Pro is here to help you take advantage of that. Our team is closing loans in 15 days or less, so give us a call at 256-397-0248 and let our team go to work for you today.
For more than 40 years, Ingram Equipment Company has helped companies, towns, and cities with their dirtiest, most challenging jobs by providing the very best equipment and by helping them keep in tip-top working condition. IEC represents leading manufacturers such as Heil garbage truck bodies, Timco sweepers, Step pothole patchers, and many more. We proudly support all athletes and teams that compete across the state and wish them good luck this year. Ingram Equipment Company, ingramequipment.net.
WAXC TV3's Basketball Game of the Week is presented by Glenn Smith Chevrolet Buick GMC on the Columbus Parkway in Opelika. Get ready to smile. Catch game replays on WAXC TV3 and on our Roku app. Games replayed Monday and Friday at 8 p.m. and also Saturday and Sunday at 6:30. Catch the replays of these games airing now from Glenn Smith Chevrolet Buick GMC in Opelika and WAXC TV3.
Welcome back, everyone, to our final segment of the Auburn Blitz. It's been a fun day here on the show. Thanks for the call, Terry. And Ty has an interesting comment, JJ. He said the refs are calling too many fouls lately. Last night, Texas A&M shot 34 free throws, and Tennessee shot 14. I think Arkansas will give Alabama all they want Saturday. Well, let me address the first part of that comment. Brett made this point. Brett said, we wish we could do a study on the amount of free throws that are shot by the home team versus the visiting team. Go back, as far as you want to.
Yep.
We all know, I've had this conversation with my wife. My wife never coached. She was a cheerleader in high school. She didn't play much athletics, and she does not understand the difficulty of winning on the road.
Yep.
It's already extremely difficult to win on the road. Ask anybody that's been in Neville Arena lately or in a packed Coleman Coliseum.
Yep.
Throw on top of that the assumed bias of some of the officials slanting toward the home team, and that's where this free throw discrepancy comes into play. I mean, what say you on that?
I hate to see the big discrepancies in free throws, because it's not normal. And it tells me that it's not. When something's that abnormal, it tells me that it's, there's something funny going on.
Because if they were playing.
It also doesn't prepare you well for tournament time, because the fouls are going to be called differently in tournament play. And a lot of times, I'll say this, a lot of times in Southeastern Conference ball, we get pretty physical down there. Sometimes they swallow the whistle a little bit.
Yeah.
They're not going to get swallowed in tournament play.
Yeah, that's right.
You can't body up everybody in the tournament. No. You're going to get called. So it really doesn't prepare you well for the postseason either.
And we say, that's true, and we say, well, we have to adjust to the way the game is being called. Across the board, you shouldn't have to adjust every single night to the way the game is being called.
Well, yeah, it shouldn't change drastically from night to night.
No, but we tell our kids, JJ, if I'm coaching and I'm talking to my team, I'm going to say, guys, you know the environment we're going to be in. Shut it out. Mental toughness. Go in there and play just like we're in our own gym.
Right.
Well, officials need to approach that mentally the exact same way.
Absolutely. It's kind of the same. Now, there is some, you're dealing with human beings, and
Sure.
every official is going to call touch fouls a little differently or body foul a little differently. But it's kind of like baseball, right? I'm a big Atlanta Braves fan. Everybody knows that. Greg Maddux is my all-time favorite pitcher. If Greg Maddux was pitching in a game where the umpire was going to give him that inch off the outside corner,
take it every pitch.
He's going 9 innings. He's going to walk 2 and strike out 6, and it's going to be Atlanta's going to win 2-0.
Yeah,
because nobody's getting the ball to the outfield. But if somebody's calling it a little tighter, where it has to be on that black to get a strike call, well, then the hitter had a better chance against somebody like a Maddux or a Glavine, these location pitchers, right?
Yeah.
So that to me is part of the game. You do have to adjust to that. Yeah. And in baseball, it's the strike zone.
Yeah,
in basketball, it's how much contact, how much body can you get away with, especially around the basket. And that to me is the dividing line between certain officials and others.
But to your point, though, it should not have to be a drastic adjustment any night. It should be. And let's go on and address the second part of Ty's comment. I think Arkansas will give Alabama all they want Saturday. Is that game in Fayetteville?
Is that game in Fayetteville? I think it's in Tuscaloosa. I could be wrong.
Okay. Well, if it's in Fayetteville, Ty, I'm with you. If it's in Tuscaloosa, not because of exactly what we've been talking about for the last 3 minutes.
Yes. Well, and the game is in Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
Nick Smith Jr. being back on the floor gives Arkansas another weapon.
Yeah, give him a chance.
And if he has a big game, they can give Alabama some trouble. Keep your eye on the Brandon Miller situation.
And JJ, that was my next question. Yeah. Between this Wednesday and Saturday, what else is going to conspire or transpire in that situation?
Yeah, because what happened yesterday is not the end, because
not even close.
What happened yesterday just woke a lot of people up to, oh my gosh, there may be a lot more to this story.
Yeah.
There's going to be more digging. There's going to be more stuff that comes out.
Yeah.
And so, just keep your eye on it. I'm not saying anything's going to happen. I'm not saying anything should happen because I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I'm going to finish this up today with, I don't know that if Randy or Brett touched on this yesterday, but I'm going to put my take on it, and that's everybody. The $64 million question seems to be, we're transitioning to football here. Who will be Auburn's quarterback next fall when we kick it off? My guess is Robbie Ashford, but everybody knows that Hugh Freeze is kind of the quarterback whisperer. You know, he did make the statement, I'm hard on my quarterbacks. I don't know that these guys are ready for my room yet.
Right.
And, you know, he studied the film with a fine-tooth comb. What's going to happen, in your opinion, JJ? Do you think that we'll see a big-name quarterback come out of the portal and end up on campus this summer? And could that person overtake Robbie Ashford?
It could happen. You'd have to tell me who it is, right? I mean, I'm with you. I kind of think Robbie Ashford is leader in the clubhouse at the moment, right? Going into spring, which is awful early. But I think Robbie Ashford certainly has the inside track. Now, you know, you'd have to define big name, right? I mean, a guy who was highly recruited 2 years ago doesn't necessarily make him a big name if he hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
So you just kind of have to wait and see who's available and who's interested.
I'll say I don't think that we could find a better running quarterback than Robbie Ashford.
Yeah.
But if Hugh Freeze can work his magic with him in the passing game, I'd be perfectly fine with him being Robbie Ashford next year.
Yeah, I know. Robbie Ashford, I said this last year, you know, that I think Robbie Ashford has some tools and some things that you can work with, you know, if you're a quarterback coach. There's some stuff to work with.
Absolutely. JJ, it's been a great day here on the Auburn Blitz. Guys, we'll be back again tomorrow. Andy Graham, we love you. We're praying for you. Hurry back. Be right back with us soon. We'll see you guys tomorrow.